Hey guys, Mr. Judge here. I felt like making a video again since I'm no longer in agonizing pain to address the fact that Lanae Stacks has basically tried to delete a lot of the evidence she made against herself, and it's just hilarious, guys. She literally deleted a lot of her old crap that we already, reacted to and, gathered as evidence. I guess it was in an effort to get a clean slate, and which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense in the long run, considering the fact that we literally recorded our own evidence based on those live streams. So it's not like they're gone. Like you can delete them, Lene, but we're still got plenty of them that you did post that you eliminated. It doesn't matter if you get rid of them. Anyway, and I made a post about that in my YouTube videos, pointing out how she's deleted a lot of all but I think two or three of her videos, and she only has on her videos. Now, if you combine the videos and the live streams that she does, for whatever reason, YouTube counts that as 15 videos, which I guess might be accurate. I don't know. But the point is that when I made that comment that she, got rid of a lot of her old videos, she literally responded with this, with this post, and quite frankly, I'm confused. Like, my first confusion stems from the fact that she's saying that her channel should be the last on our brains, which means she's literally trying to argue that her channel is irrelevant. And that's despite the fact that she made this big announcement all those months ago about how, oh, I'm starting a new channel and I got all the information, and all the toxic wars she engaged against content creators, only to say now that her channel should be the last on our brains. I honestly don't understand that type of argument. But what flabbergasts me even further is the fact she writes, "Oh, I'm focusing on decolonizing the platform." What does that even mean? I mean, clearly that's obviously a racial slur used against white people, obviously. But what I'm confused at is, how are you going to quote unquote decolonize YouTube when YouTube is an American founded company, and also it's not divided by race? So I don't understand how that I'm trying to decolonize YouTube is even supposed to mean. I mean, the only interpretation I could legitimately think of when you say that is you're trying to say that you're going to try and remove white people from it, or whoever you deem as the colonizer, which strongly implied to be white people. But I don't understand how that logic even works. Now, maybe I'm thinking too deeply about it because this is Lanae Stacks and she'll do anything to get attention. But also, I get the strong feeling that she delusionally believes what she says. And if that is indeed the case, how is she supposed to decolonize YouTube? It's not a country. It's not even a physical space. How do you decolonize an internet space? You guys really got to give me an answer for that one. Another thing that kind of solidifies that she's trying to create a brand new narrative is the fact that, as you can see here in this other post, she's trying to seem very wise and make this argument of division is our weakest strategy and it's a terrible thing that you shouldn't follow. But you have to remember two very important things. One, she's already promoting division because she's trying to promote black supremacy against white people, as she's claimed she's trying to decolonize the platform, meaning kick white people out and leave it exclusively to black people. So when she's trying to make this appeal of black unity, what she's actually doing is supporting racial division even further, because she's not saying let's live with white people and other races. She's saying kick everybody out that isn't black. and that's still division because she can't see that, as human beings, we're all one single race. We're not really two different races, even though the uneducated perspective would have you believe that. And so she's wanting to make this illusion of being a wise woman by saying the right words, like, hey, division is bad. But her actions of what she defines as division is different than what division actually means. And then the second thing to keep in mind is she tells you that division is the weakest strategy, but literally, let me remind my listeners here, she literally promoted division by secretly talking to Umar, telling him that she can do something to stop Lynn and Honor from making Umar Johnson look bad, thus trying to get Umar Johnson to actively campaign against Lynn and Honor, even though Umar Johnson actually didn't respond to it. And then when Umar Johnson wasn't, willing to be her field general, she goes to Lynn and Honor, and to all of us, without us even knowing that she had this conversation with him, that she was a victim, that he was terrible, and that the internet needs to vilify him. And we do need to dislike him and hate him for how he's robbed the black community of millions and how terrible, he's treated the black community. I agree with that point. But she had this whole vendetta, of telling us to our face, yeah, Omar Johnson betrayed me and he was terrible and what have you. Then we come to find out about 6 months later, she had actually been in private contacts with him for months, even before she approached Lennon Honored, and was still talking to him even then. And it was just switching sides. And that's where, the whole argument of division is our weakest strategy is very hypocritical, because she herself was a practitioner of division, trying to get, first it's Umar Johnson to actively campaign against Lynn and Honor, then to get Lynn and Honor and his followers to actively campaign against Umar Johnson, which he was already doing, but trying to, stoke the flames for her own malicious intention, and then siding with Manny and Marianne to try to promote division amongst Umar Johnson critics so that they would, essentially become her little cult followers. And it was after she got exposed that she starts this whole us versus them mentality. Whereas before it was, hey, we're all against Umar Johnson. We all hate what he's doing. Let's not divide ourselves. Even pretending that she was defending Lynn and Honor before she turned on him. So, and also turning on Marianne briefly as well before rejoining sides for whatever stupid reason. So she is the last person to tell you about division being the weakest strategy, because she herself is a practitioner of division. Now, some of you actually might be asking why I'm bringing this up now, considering the fact that, a lot of us have moved on from Lanae Stacks and gone on to different projects, and that's absolutely true. And that's why I'm not really putting any of her video content up, because what little content she allowed to be saved is just so flippin' boring. But the main reason why I bring it up is simply because, you know, her effort to delete her old content and now create new content, as established as being a deliberate effort to hide her bad history on YouTube, only works if nobody comments on it. Hence why she's had a surge of subscribers recently. Although, in total fairness, that barely any of them are really reacting to what she's saying. But still, it was a major surge from 300 and I believe it was 350, kept alternating from 352 to 349 to now she has 361. And it only her efforts only work if nobody's around to say, hey, remember when she did this, remember when she did that. It's important to remember these things, because if there's a lesson in history, which is those who don't remember history are doomed to repeat it. And that's what she's hoping to do. She's hoping that if she deletes her history, makes it to where there's very little evidence of her ever saying anything negative, she can paint this narrative of all the videos I've ever done was never negative. She can later deny that she ever threatened us with police. She can later deny that she ever made claims about her omission of what her actual job was. She could make all these claims about how, you know, even though most people wouldn't believe it, she could then create an argument against the videos that do exist, saying, "Oh, those are fake because I don't have them on my channel. So how could that be true if it's not on both of our channels?" Now, most of us with a brain and or at least understanding it's 2026 wouldn't fall for that type of narrative, but the point is somebody would, and that's the problem. We have to not focus on her, but we have to remember her tactics and counteract them so she can never gain a strong foothold um, on YouTube again, because people forget, unfortunately, especially in this rapid period of time. You know, the dangerous thing about this fast paced YouTube channel, Media Central, is that people who were, you know, insultive and angry and combative, they can hide out and wait until you've completely forgot about them and then resurface later. And because their content was so freaking long ago, you don't even remember why you were mad at them in the first place. Like, for example, Marianne is a great example of that, because she, you know, when we first encountered her, she was coming up with Omar Johnson ruined our film, and we were all just so sympathetic to her, and we wanted desperately her claim of of suing Umar Johnson to be true, that we never vetted this lady. We never looked into her history. And so when we did, oh, look what we find. She actually wasn't a nurse anymore because she was fired. There actually was video of her being unhinged against a senator and getting admonished by a judge for it. And did any of us know that when we first encountered her on YouTube? No, because we weren't focusing on who she was. We were focusing on what she was claiming about, and therein lies the danger. If you don't properly vet these people, and which is what they're hoping you won't do, they will their strategy will say, okay, well, I've got a bad rep on YouTube right now. Let me just delete my content, go hide out into, you know, the real world for a time, maybe change my YouTube name, and then after a period of time come back and let's see if I can make a go of it. And you know what? That strategy actually works sometimes. Hence why, even though, you know, if we had known about that court thing and the senator thing, it would have made us look at Marianne with a little bit of skepticism, although not outright disbelief. Um, we didn't know about that because we weren't focusing on then, we were focusing on now, which echoes what I'm saying. Those who forget history are doomed to repeat it. We forgot that she was a crazy ass lady, so we didn't treat her as a crazy ass lady. And so she got to act like a crazy ass lady. You know, it all comes down into a cycle. So that's the reason why I'm bringing it up, even though it would seem almost irrelevant now because we've kind of exposed her to oblivion. And that much I understand and I get that. But if we let up and just say, forget about her, cool, she'll just resurface later. And this time, and this time you could run up into another Marianne situation where you think, okay, there's a crisis going on or there's a situation going on and this person seems to have some insight or this person seems to be on my side here, and then you'll forget that, hey, 5 years ago we were all hating on this person for being a scammer, for lying to us. So just keep that in mind. You know, that's the reason why I bring up a lot of the past things that she did and why I'm making this video now, so that we can kind of avoid that, and if not avoid it, then at least delay that situation from happening. All right, guys. Well, I think I'm going to do more videos with just my voice. I have some backlog projects that I never completed that I will definitely start using my real voice because it's faster to get this show on the road. I hope you guys like this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe.